Isaac quickly drove the car over. Charlie was about to get in the car. Bao Fugi, the owner of Treasure's Pavilion, hurried out and asked nervously, "Master, why are you leaving so early?" Charlie said calmly, "Suddenly there is something to be dealt with, so I won't stay longer." Bao Fugi hurriedly asked, "Master, are you not satisfied with the service of Treasure's Pavilion?" Charlie waved his hand. "No, it has nothing to do with your Treasure Pavilion." Bao Fugi only breathed a sigh of relief and quickly asked, "By the way, Master Wade, were you interested in the items that were auctioned today? If so, please tell me, and I will help you win." Charlie shook his head and smiled. "There is nothing I am interested in at the auction. I came here today to join in the heat, so don't worry too much." With that said, he pointed to the Rolls-Royce in front of him and said to Bao Fugi, "I have something to do, so I will leave now, and we will get together again when I have time." Bao Fugi hurriedly nodded and bowed his waist and said, "Master, go slowly. If there is another auction in Treasure's Pavilion next time, I must contact you in advance." Charlie nodded, said goodbye to Bao Fugi, and got in the car. Bao Fugi saw Charlie's Rolls-Royce leave the Treasure Pavilion before turning around and returning to the auction venue. Afterward, Isaac carried Charlie to the old house where Charlie lived with his parents. At this time, Leona, who finally won the former residence of Charlie's parents at a sky-high price of 62 million, has come to the back office of the auction and began to go through the house purchase procedures with the staff. The staff of the Judicial Department looked at Leona in shock at this time, and said, "Madam, are you sure you want to buy this property at a high price of 62 million? If you want to breach the contract now, we will only hold your bid. Deposit of 10,000 will be deducted and you will be added to the blacklist for only 1 year. Would you like to consider it again? This is a judicial auction after all, and all the funds from the auction will be used for the defendant to repay the amount involved in the case. Therefore, no matter how much is sold, there is no actual interest involved in the Judicial Department. Therefore, they hope that the goods sold by the judicial auction can really be sold at a price-performance ratio." They felt that the price Leona had set out was too ridiculous and that this house was not worth so much money without reason. Once Leona paid the money, there would be no room for regret. All the money from the auction of the house will be used for judicial compensation immediately, and there will never be room for regret. But in case Leona clears the money and regrets it, if she wants to coax it, she must come to the Judicial Department to coax it. At that time, it will more or less affect their own reputation, and it will be trouble for them. Therefore, in order to put an end to the trouble, they hope that Leona will not be taken advantage of. It would be best to repent on the spot. When the next judicial auction comes, the house will be taken out again and auctioned at a normal market price. Moreover, they also felt that Leona must have bid the price with that person on the spot, so they kept increasing the price one by one. Otherwise, it is impossible for a normal person to get such an incredible price. However, she was very confident at this time and said, "I don't need to think about it. Please handle the payment for me as soon as possible and the rest of the transfer process. The sooner the better, thank you." The staff wiped their sweat and explained earnestly, "Madam, the starting price of this house you are buying now is only 880,000, and the highest market price is about 1.3 million. Your current auction price is nearly 50 times the difference. Are you sure you really don't need to think about it again?" Leona shook her head and said firmly, "I have considered it clearly, and there is no need to consider it anymore from my side. Please help me handle it as soon as possible." Several staff members exchanged glances, and one of them said, "In this case, we will handle the subsequent payment process for you. Is your bank account balances enough?" Leona counted and nodded. "Enough. Okay." The staff took out the POS machine and said, "Madam, please confirm that your card-issuing bank has a single-day transaction limit in the required range. Many users have a single-day transaction limit. The default is 1 million. If your transaction limit is not enough, please contact the bank." Her daughter on the side said impatiently, "Where do you have so many problems? Can you just swipe your card? If our card doesn't even have a transaction limit, how could you just wait for payment?" The staff member embarrassedly said, I'm sorry, miss, mainly because we haven't done a single transaction of such a large amount, so I want to confirm with you clearly. I am really sorry. After speaking, the staff entered the number on the POS machine, after confirming that it was correct, handed it to Leona and said, "Madam, please swipe your card." Leona counted and nodded, took out the bank card and handed it to the other party, and then entered the password. Then, the POS machine displayed that the bank had confirmed that the transaction deduction was successful, so it automatically typed out the slip. The staff really sighed. It seems that this is a rich person who doesn't take money seriously, and spending dozens of times more is nothing to her. Afterward, the staff took out 5 copies of the house purchase agreement and said to Leona, "Madam, please check the details of the contract. If there are not any problems, each of the 5 house purchase agreements must be signed, and all pages must be signed for confirmation." Leona counted and nodded, flipped through the terms, and after confirming that the ownership of the property rights was clear and there were no problems, she immediately began to sign her name on the contract. At the same time, Eastcliff Su's family. Xiao Su said to Mr. Isaac Jifeng Su angrily, "This sister-in-law. This woman is really ignorant. Not only did she go to the auction, she also took the house with a maximum of 1 million for a price of 62 million. I think it won't be long before this incident will be known to the entire Eastcliff city, and the face of our Su family will be seriously damaged by that time." After that, he said angrily, "How the hell does she like Changying bastard? It's unreasonable." Changfeng said with a cold face, "Don't call her sister-in-law. Our family doesn't have such a daughter-in-law." Xiao said angrily, "Dad, if I knew this was going to be the case, it would have been better to kill her on the way to the auction. That way, at least we could keep our family's face." Changfeng said in a cold voice, "If we do this kind of thing in advance, it would be risking the world. If she still doesn't damage our Su family's face, our Su family will kill her in advance. If this is spread out, our family will become the object of disgust for the whole world, and the object of criticism and ridicule for the entire Eastcliff upper class." After that, Changfeng asked him back, "Have you forgotten that the world-famous princess in Europe was killed after she fell in love with a heretic, became pregnant with his children, and was about to get married? But even so, even if there has always been definite evidence from the outside world, and the royal family has been scolded for decades, if the royal family kills the princess just because the princess is in love with a heretic, the royal family would have been drowned in the saliva of the common people long ago." Having said that, Changfeng sighed, patted his face lightly, and said, "Others have to slap us on our faces before we can kill them. You can't just because they stare at you. We must kill the other party. That is to poke a big basket."